Hi folks, this is Akash7 channel. In this video, like in the previous tutorial, previous video, we have talked about like what is a class and how you can understand about in layman terms how the classes, what is a class basically is about. In this particular video or lecture, we will be going to discuss about like how we can define a class, right? How we can plan, like if you want to write something, right, in the programming terminologies, how we can do that. So in this particular video, we'll be going to discuss about it, and straightforward we will be going to look at the syntax, like how what is the format we can define the class, right? So first of all you should understand is like first class keyword you have to write it, and another class name, right? So whatever it is a user defined name you can give it, okay? Class name, right? So after that you have to write a documentation screen, okay? So this is a optional part, right? Documentation string, this is a optional part. So if you want to describe about the class, what functionality you want to call it, what the things that has to be done, right? So this has to be written over here, right? So one is variable and another one is a method, right? So these two things you have to mention here. Variable is nothing but like such as instance variable, local variable, or the variables which carries the information, you can call it as like that. So method is nothing but an action, what things has to be happened into the come into the place, right? Static method, class methods we can call it, instance method, right? So these are the things you can tell that. Variable and method, okay? Variable and the method you can write it. Method is nothing but a function, right? Understand in layman terms, this is a prototype plan you are writing, right? Let's suppose you want to become a software engineer. I will take an example of a software engineer, right? So tools and technologies that you have to be well versed, right? As a software engineer you should know the programming language, right? So I can call it as any type of a variable, that is a local variable, it may be, that may be an instance variable, it may be a static variable, it may be. So we will be going to discuss that what is a variable, what are the variables and methods we can call it. So no need to worry, understand in this particular video or lecture, understand these things is like if you want to design anything, if you want to plan a roadmap or you have planned a trip, right? So what are the key things that should have? This is a particular thing you should aware about it. So now we will talk about documentation string. What is this documentation string is about? So documentation string is nothing but a description of the class, okay? What you will be going to do, what the purpose behind that, right? So this is a, we can call it as a doc string, right? So we can print this, right? Class name dot underscore underscore doc underscore underscore if you want to print this documented string, okay? If you want to get the all the information about the class, okay, all right, so we can write like this, right? Help function, help method, and you can write it as a class name, okay? So we understood like how the things will be going to work this, right? So we'll try to understand these things with respect to the practical approach, that is VS Code. I will be using my code editor, so you can use of your choice, right? So this is a particular thing we will be going to understand about it, right? So we'll take one particular in the desktop as a Python practice, like this. I will be just creating one folder, you can write it like that, right? I am just selecting that folder, okay? I will be not using anything here, I will be just writing it as demo class, demo underscore, my god, yeah, all right. So demo underscore class dot py, right? So first of all you need to understand one thing, that how you can write it. Let's suppose class software engineer, right? Class, this is a software engineer. Okay, so this is a software engineer class, right? So first thing you will be writing that this is a software engineer class, right? Software engineer class with required data. Okay, with required data, like that I will be writing here, right? So this is a documentation string. Now let's say if I want to print this details, right? Print function, then I will be writing let's say, what is the class name over here? Software engineer, right? So what I'll be going to do, I will just write like this: software engineer dot underscore doc, right? So this is a particular conventions, right? Let's suppose if I want to run this particular code, I guess we have written the indentation problem, right? So we have written inside the class, that is the main. So we'll just try to run the code right now. What we got here, this is a software engineer with required data, right? So we got this. Now another thing is, we'll just try to use help function and we'll just call the class. Okay, here class name is a software engineer. Let's understand about it right now. Running, this is a software engineer with required data. Understood? So this is what you have understood about this. So we'll just try to execute this. Okay, so now understand. So help function, what it will be going to do is, this module will give you a description about the class and what are the functionalities there. Underscore dict underscore is a dictionary data structure which is an instance variable. Okay, so you will understand in detail what things are there, okay, within a Python class, how we can represent the data by using the variables, right? Variable, first thing we'll be try to understand what is the variables that we'll be using in the OOPS concepts, right? First that we need to concentrate in the next lecture, next video. Okay, so that's it about this video, folks. I wanted to show that like how we can define the class and how the things will be going to work out, and I will be just committing this code in my repository. Okay, so if you don't know how to commit the code and all, so what I will do is I will just create a repository here. Okay, so you should not think as a skeptical here, right? So one thing, wait for that and we'll just try to create a repository. We will be writing as Python materials, something like this, right? So you will understand, right? So what are the things will be public readme file, git ignore. So like another file should not be committing, right? So that is the reason about it. MIT license, and we'll just create a repository here. Alright, so what I will do is I will just committing this code, right? What I will do is I will just go here. I have to just navigate through terminal, right? I have to just clone the repository here. Okay, what you have to do is this repository, paste it. So the materials will be going to come into it in the Python materials, right? So what I will do is I will just move it to the Python materials. So we'll get to know like what are the materials are there. Okay, alright, so this is the thing about it, how we can do this. Okay, so I will just create one folder called how lecture 1, how to define a class. So you will understand, like basically if you want to navigate it, right, define class. Okay, so this is a thing. So I'll just write it move it a little bit here, just move it in the this. I'll just copy and I will just paste it here. Okay, alright, so this is a particular thing, and I will just write it here. Syntax has a whole. I will just copy the whole thing, right? So I'll just copy this. Okay, so this will, you will get an idea, right? So this is a thing. I hope you got an idea, right? So this is a particular thing, right? I will just commit the code. We'll just use the add to add all the files. Git, not a git repository, init. cd python materials, right? Inside that we have done that. Git add dot, right? So git commit added how to define class in Python. Okay, so I am just written here. So I will just push git push origin. Okay, so this will push the code into a GitHub, so you can just walk through there, right? So you will understand everything about it. So see, this is a repo, right? So you can just navigate through that, so you will understand like how to define a class, right? So this will very easy and cakewalk, folks. So if you want to directly run the program, right, so you have to just write it here.